Well, good evening. I thought we'd do an IL2 video tonight. One of my viewers and a chap I've been talking to a bit and threatening to play with on IL2 online, JV44 Heinzbar, suggested that he'd like to see some IL2 videos, some more of those. So I'm going to do one here tonight, and I just thought I'd show you some of the settings I'm using. I've got ultra checked here. But that doesn't mean that everything's set to ultra. I have cloud quality set to low, dynamic resolution factor, which allows you to reduce render quality to maintain target frame per second. I think my system with a 3090 and an i9900 CPU is probably fast enough. I don't need that. So I've got it turned down quite a bit. Anti-aliasing is off. I think what I'm going to do is turn it on and use MSAA at 2, which will give me, I think, pretty good correction. I've got gamma correction on at 1.5, which makes the screen a little bit brighter. Screen space ambient occlusion. I've always had that on, but this time, I'm going to sneak up on it, surprise it, and turn it off. HDR, which I've never used. A couple of viewers asked me about this, and I'm not even sure what it is. I don't think it applies to VR, but I've turned it on. And 4K textures are on. Excuse me. Oh, I'm still getting over that bloody pneumonia. I feel much better, though, in case you're concerned, and I don't blame you if you aren't. Distant buildings are on. Okay, so let's accept that. Oh, I've got to restart the game. Well, we can do that. Okay. Let's just take some more looks here at what I've got set up here. Now, we've looked at the graphics settings. I don't think there's a whole lot else I have to look at. Sound. I've got sound set down so that you can hear me over the cockpit noise. Maybe I should turn it up. Anyway, let's have a go here, shall we? I'll close this. I will accept all of that. Don't have mods enabled because you can't get into some servers if you do. All right. Now, I got to put the helmet on. The headset. Okay. Right now, I'm showing... Oh, I'm caught on something. Oh, I see. I got to shift the microphone to make room for my headset cabling. Boy, someday they'll have VR improved to the point where you don't need cables. I mean, they've got standalone games, but generally, if you want the best resolution, you have to put up with cables. And for seated games like this, it's okay. All right, let's exit here. And I think we'll just do a quick mission here because I want to demonstrate what I think is my new favorite airplane. I love this airplane. Now let's pick a terrain. I don't want to fly in Moscow, 1941. Let's see if we've got a Western Front. Western Front, spring 1918. Arras. Spring 1918. Well, that could be kind of a pain in the ass. Lines like that kept me under the big time for years. Let's try that. Let's go to Arras. Arras. And let's see where the fields are. Well, the main field is at Arras. And then over here at Douai. Douai, I guess it is. Combray. My French isn't very good anymore, but let's just do a mission right here, and let's pick something that isn't going to completely kick my ass. Central Powers, that's what we need. Oh, is this new? Well, how cool is that? I got to try. That, I think that's an Austrian plane, but I don't know very much about it. And I will pick from the Entente side, the Sopwith Triplane. Oh, the Airco DH4, that's a bomber. There we go. But the Sopwith Triplane I really like. One of the top Canadian aces of the war flew in a Royal Navy air squadron using Sopwith triplanes. And the Germans were so impressed by them that they asked Fokker to build one for them. And out of that came the Fokker triplane, which was one of the really cool airplanes of the war. Those guys were brave back then, you know. They were amazing. To get into these little airplanes with rudimentary controls. I mean rudimentary power. No armor. Gosh, I mean, unbelievable. All right, without modifications. Let's try some modifications. Oh, twin forward Vickers. Oh yeah, it normally came with one because the machine guns were heavy and airplanes were pretty low capacity in those days. We'll leave the Aldous sight off. Okay, we'll take that. Accept. Speed range. It stalls at 50 and it cruises at 60. I thought 10 miles an hour? Are you kidding me? Or top speed was 65. I thought, holy moly. You're flying on a razor's edge there between stall and cruise. All right, let's start this. I want to see this new Axis plane. Okay. There he is. Oh, this thing rolls a lot better than a Camel. Wow, that's a pretty airplane. Boy, this triplane is an absolute delight to fly. And it sure looks good in the Crystal. I mean, it looks amazing. And so does this enemy plane here. But this airplane, I think, is an order of magnitude easier to control than the Camel. It rolls really well both ways. I should have loaded neck saver. My neck's too old to try to look behind me in this plane. Oh, I can't do it. I'm too old and creaky. Don't tell me we got another one. So I'm showing 90 frames per second, 88 now. Turbo is on. Everything still looks really good. Oh, I finally almost stalled it. Almost went into an incipient. I think this Central Powers airplane has a little more power. I'm not sure. He seems to be able to climb a little better. But that could just be a lack of talent on my part. Look at that. Ground looks good. I like the propeller spinning in front of the cockpit. I don't want to run into him or overshoot. Look at the way the light and the shadow play on the underside of the front wing. You can see the exhaust from that airplane. I'm trying really short bursts, so I don't want to jam the guns. Well, it looks like I can out-turn him, but I don't think I can out-climb him. Maybe, because this airplane's so light. But I'm willing to bet he's faster. I really like the look of that airplane. Gosh, the camouflage on it is great. I love the way the sun plays off the wings in the Crystal. You know, this is an exciting time to be a VR enthusiast because there are so many great headsets coming onto the market. I mean, last year at this time, people were saying VR was dead. And now we've got the Crystal and the 12K to look forward to. We've got the Pico 4. We've got the Somnium coming. We've got the big screen Beyond. I mean, there's just an amazing number of really, really good headsets coming onto the market. Wow. Got to get some hits on this guy. I'm glad I opted for the twin machine guns. The way I shoot, it could take all day to hit him with one. Okay. Boy, that's an easy airplane to recover when you do an incipient spin like that. Oh, what are you doing down there? You're coming straight at me? Okay. Well, let's do some yo-yos and try and get behind him again. Yeah, I think this guy's doing a rope-a-dope on me. He's just going to stay above me climbing, and I've got to kind of try to get him to come down to me, because every time I try to climb up to him, I wind up in trouble, running out of energy. And I'm still waiting for my updated firmware for my beta headset. consumers are getting the getting better firmware than I have, but that's the price of beta testing. You got to get all the stuff that doesn't work fixed. Lord knows that's always a struggle with anything, any product, any process. He's trailing smoke, but that doesn't mean I hit him. That's just the exhaust. And some of it might be castor oil. They used to lubricate these rotary engines with castor oil. So the guys would get out of the airplane after our combat mission and have to run to the bathroom. Oh, we're getting low. I gotta dodge buildings. They look good though, don't they? The trees. So I've got anti-aliasing set to, what is that, MSAA and level 2. I think that's plenty. I'm not seeing any ghosting or weird images. Ooh, that's a nice building. I think he might have crashed. Let's find out. Maybe that's just wishful thinking. Oh, I should have loaded neck saver. The older I get, the harder it is to look behind me. Which is probably a good thing anyway. Like Satchel Paige said, don't look back. Something could be gaining on you. Well, do I have enough speed to complete this loop? Nope, I gotta turn it into a kind of a weird yo-yo. I guess IL-2 is bringing out the Sopwith Pup, and that was an amazing airplane. It was still aerobatic at altitudes that other airplanes could barely maintain level flight, or so I read. I mean, I wasn't there. Look, I'm old, but I'm not that old. I just kind of want to fly around for a bit now. Look at this great little town. Yeah, I'll grant you this isn't Flight Sim 2020 level scenery, but it's good. It's really good. The folks behind IL2 have done a really nice job of updating this game and adding airplanes and improving the flight models, and I just think it looks and plays so good. If I had one wish for IL2, it would be that I could use my mouse in the game. Because when I fly in one of those ultra-realistic servers where you start on the ground and you have to flip every switch and blah, 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 all those things in VR have to be mapped to my joystick and throttle system, and I just don't want to give up those buttons, you know? And it's too much like a pain in the butt, too. I think that's why I like World War II so much, or World War I airplanes in IL-2 so much, because they're a lot less complicated. I can map a few buttons and that's all I need. I don't have a zillion things that I have to turn on or set before I take off. I wonder where the airfield is. Gotta be around here somewhere. I'm looking at the little map out the cockpit window. Well, let's just have a look. These things stalled so slow with 3 wings that you could probably land it just about anywhere. So this one's for JV44 Heinzbar, who has his own YouTube channel. He does a lot of tanking in IL2. He hasn't posted a lot of videos lately, but I never even thought about driving a tank in IL2. That's actually pretty cool when you think about it. Okay. I don't know where the field is, but I think this video has gone on for too long, and I have probably already bored some people out of the game, or at least out of the video. You know, you can see the individual leaves. Wow. Pretty cool. I probably should have checked to see which way the wind is blowing before I decided to land. I think I better try and make it to the top of the hill here. If you're landing away from an airfield, the conventional wisdom is that you take off downhill and you land uphill. So let's try that. Ooh. Okay. So I would call that a good landing because I lived through it. Okay. Thanks for watching. This is Sopwith Triplane in IL2 and the Pimax Crystal. 90 frames per second. Pretty happy with that with an i9900 GPU or a CPU and an NVIDIA 3090. It's pretty good. And of course I'm playing connected to the computer by cable. Obviously it's not standalone play. Thank you so much for watching and putting up with my ranting and my rambling. I appreciate it, and I hope you'll come back again. If you like the content, you want to see more flying sims and stuff like that on the Crystal, I hope you'll come back. Okay, we'll talk soon. Thank you.